everything should be cool. Yeah. Yep. It's there actually. All right. All right. Pretty good. Pretty good. So we're live. I'm actually having a new OBS and stuff like that. So that's actually what matters. Welcome to the round 4, ladies and gentlemen. So in the round 4, the focus is actually on the workflows themselves. So in the ScriptRunner for the data center, you can actually add and create your own scripts. Things like block the transition if the user is not part of a specific group. Do not allow someone to do the transition if there isn't a due date hasn't been filled. Um, if there isn't a specific label added to the issue, do not allow a person to do the change, and so on and so forth. And in here, I already have some scripts in here. And when you're creating a workflow in here, a workflow function, so you have 3 options to select. So workflow, transitions, and workflow function type. So those are the 3 things that you have. So from here, you choose the workflow. Transitions, I chose a simple one. So you can go like in progress, and from here, you have 3 options. You have conditions, you have validators, and you have also post functions. When it comes to conditions, it's basically the if-else logic. So condition is checking if a certain value, if a certain thing is correct. If it's not correct, it's not being allowed. That's it. Validator checks when you're actually doing the clicking. So for example, even though if you have like a transition being shown to you, but you try to click on it, there's going to be an error message popping up to you and saying, hey, you cannot do this because you haven't filled a certain field, or you're not the project administrator, so you cannot do that, and so on. Post function actually happens when the condition and validator basically they're done, and when a certain issue actually transitions to the target status. That is the post function. That is what the post function actually does. So that is a simple explanation of how that actually works. Now, the good thing is I've created this Confluence page right here about the having all of the scripts in here, having the HAPI scripts, what they're doing, what is actually basically doing. So it's saying, hey, find all of the methods, and it's going to say, yeah, sure, and it's gonna say, okay, now log all of the issues that basically are having a priority of medium. So go through all of the summaries and everything else. So the other part of that is when you're working with the import libraries, especially when you have component accessor and everything else, because most of the stuff and the ScriptRunner that basically you're actually seeing is starting with the component accessor, because basically in Groovy ScriptRunner is using the Java virtual machine, which is actually using those libraries from the Java API. But that documentation is a real mess out there. You would get really, really confused. I was when I was looking for that documentation, so it was terrible. And there are different libraries in here. So there's for issues and issue types, and all of these mean something different. So all of these right here are different. For example, mostly you're using this issue manager. It's the combination of component accessor dot issue manager, and that's within one variable, and then in a second variable you're actually defining a key, your issue key, and from that issue key you're actually extracting all of the data that you need. So that is, then there's mutable issue in here that basically is being used to modify your current issue. Set the summary, set the description, set the priority based on the name or the R or ID or something else. This issue right here is basically just there. The only one difference in here is that this dot issue is being defined as not as a class, because you actually have classes, and this is part of the object-oriented programming. And within those classes you can have the attributes, and with those, and with besides the attributes you also have the constructors with the parameters and without the parameters, and so on and so forth. And there's this term that is basically called an interface, right? So if I'm not really explaining what actually that means, what the interface is actually, but the focus here is on this issue. It's almost the same when you're using the variable. Think of it like that. And there's this issue factory right here that is basically used for creating the issues. And then you also have for the issue type and everything else. So, and then especially for the JQL query, especially this stuff right here. So with the search service, so it was much easier with HAPI. And of course, you can use this, you can change that with the HAPI in terms of, so you can use like issues.search, put in your JQL query and do all of this stuff. With this, you would have to do a lot more to use the search service, then to use this thing, a pager filter, that basically is telling how limited, how basically limited it is, how limited results can be, because let's say you can actually have more than 3,000 issues within your project. It's not going to reflect good on the ScriptRunner, especially if you're running on the data center. So that's why you're using this pager filter as well. So there's also for the users, for the application user and everything, because specifically in this mutable issue, there's this, of course, option to update issue. So it's like issue.update issue, and in there it's required for you to actually enter the 4 parameters. So yeah, so there are actually a lot of stuff: custom fields, status characters, project roles, attachments, dates, REST API calls, and stuff like that. So that is even in there. And this is actually how it looks when you're using the component accessor. So it's basically using this issue manager right here, and from there it's using the issue by the current key, where you're putting the current key. From there you have current key, the priority name, the status name, and so on. One big thing in there that was about the adding the labels, but let's not talk about that. We actually got off the topic from here. And let's talk about these conditions in here. So when you're actually adding a condition or something like that, the best thing that you can actually do is go to your issues, and then, so since this is being applied on the workflow itself, you go to the workflows, you actually go to edit the workflows. I prefer using the diagram. And from here, this is where you're adding your stuff. So for example, if you actually want to add a condition right here, so you can add a condition, and since you're having the ScriptRunner installed, you're gonna be seeing a bunch of these options in here that have been added. So there is like simple scripted one, and there is also custom script that has been added. Now, this worked for me with using the simple scripted condition. So it's like this is whether to show the action or not. So I already have this. I can actually show you this condition right here if I click on edit. And this is basically what it does. So if the issue is not having a due date, there's not gonna be any transitions, meaning there's going to be saying that you do not have certain permissions to actually do the transition itself. That's basically what it's gonna do, nothing more than that. And then it's gonna return the issue due date, of course, if there is any. If not, it's not gonna be there. And now there's also this preview issue key option that allows you to preview and to actually test out on the issue itself and to see if actually to be working. Now, this part right here, you're kind of expecting for this to be showing false, right? So the thing is, yeah, I have this, and this is actually enabled and everything else. So if I want to do this, so let's see here. This is from in progress to done. Okay. So let me go to my project, and this is from in progress to done. Okay. I don't have a due date here yet, but I can actually set it up. So if I go to in progress, everything is cool and dandy, but in here it's saying you don't have a permission to actually transition this issue. Now, what I can do from here is I can click on edit, and from clicking on edit, I can add a due date in here, and I can click on update, and what happens is the due date automatically appears. It's right here. Now, when I refresh this, of course it wasn't showing. I can now go ahead and I can clear my issue here. And that's it. Now, what actually happens in here is if I delete this, it's gone. The whole field is gone. So that was the idea of this script right here. Now, of course, there are actually certain other things depending on the requirements that you're actually having. So, if I go back here and these add labels, create issue, so the scripts are pretty huge when you're actually not using the HAPI. They are really, they're really that long. And if I could use the HAPI everywhere, I would really start using it. Like, really start using it. So, for example, for labels in here, it's saying if there are no labels, returning false. So, basically, meaning you're not gonna be able to do the transition at all. But then this next part in here, what it does, it's looking if there is any label with this specific value. So that means if you add this, so let us do it. Let's go with that. So when I actually go back here, I'm gonna disable this condition for now. So that is something that you can do. You can always disable the conditions. Alright, so now I have open to in progress. I can go to add the condition, simple scripted condition. In here, this is what I'm doing. So I can add it, and from here, I'm gonna go this PM8 right here that I have. And now when this is actually saying false, that you can basically say it's evaluated to false. So basically meaning that there is not going to be any transitions in here, but already it's been actually moved to done. So let's look for something else. So for example, we have this one where it says PM1, and we're still having false for it. So why is that? So first of all, in order for this to actually be effective, you need to publish your workflow. So that's one thing that needs to happen. And when you actually publish that, did I symbol scripted view? Okay. Okay, so maybe okay. We're gonna see what is going to happen. So basically, there we go. What's happening? You don't have a permission to transition this issue. I cannot do it at all. And why is that? Well, it's because we're having this. Now, if I was to actually disable this thing, or to say ready for clients, so we're having ready for clients, and I'm going to go to my labels right here. I'm going to add it, click on update, and I have it now open for client. Now usually the UI can actually bug out here, but that is actually something you don't have to worry for. If it bugs out, it's okay, it's fine. Alright, so now let us check in here. So if we refresh this, we get it in progress and we get it to done. So it works. That's great. Now there is of course a different thing in here, because if I go disable from here and I go enable for the validator, different stuff happens. So yeah, this is the validator, and the validator actually works differently. It really works differently. So now if I was to put this right here, now it is always included with the error message, and also I need to be sure to know on which thing this is happening. It masks the current value, please choose different value. Right, whatever. So now in here, saying this needs to be ready for the client. If you go preview, it's gonna say will be blocked with the error message on the field until the script returns a truth value. So this is something that you're having, and now you're gonna go with update, and this is happening from open to in progress. Now remember that we're having a validator right now. Indeed, we also have a condition. We also need to check that one, but those both conditions are off, so they're not working. Now let's go back here. Let's look for something more interesting. For example, this hello right here. So it shows me in progress, but this is what happens. The validators happen on the click. This is the thing. They're happening on the click. And when you actually do on the click action that I just did right now, I get this. And it's saying workflow error. This needs to be ready for the client. And since you try to perform an illegal workflow operation, if you think you shouldn't get this, you contact your Jira admins. And Jira admins are gonna look around. They're gonna say, well, for this, a specific requirement was this, this, and that. And based on that, you're gonna be knowing why you're getting this. So that is also important to actually know, and that is also important to know how this workflow actually works. Now, if I go back here, I think that there was this one. Yeah. So where it was getting the logged in user from this get your authentication context that is basically using, yes, the component accessor, and it's saying in here if this is not the current user, if this is some other current user, return the false. So then it also checks is user in this group. So this right here, this is either returning true or false. So if I go with this script right here, so if we actually go with this, with get logged in user and everything else, and then it gets the group manager. So this is something that was included as well. So there is not only like project manager, issue manager, stuff like that, there's also group manager. And it's getting this part in here, and it's saying group manager. Now, if we are actually trying to go here and explore more with the group manager, so we're having these parts, get all group names. So you get all the group names, get connected users, and everything else. So this right here, as I said, it is checking if the user is in the group indeed. But there are actually differences between this one and this one, because this one is definitely checking the group. This one is only checking the string. So it's not the same thing. And this is actually indeed checking the application user itself. And that application user was actually getting from this part right here, which is actually getting the logged in user. Now if you go with more of the group manager, of course we can actually get this with the console. So you can really explore that and see how it actually goes. And it's saying if definitely is part, and this is the Boolean value, and then in here you're defining two parameters, who that user is and the name of this group, then it's returning is a manager. Otherwise, if it's not, it's gonna get the error message in here. You are not part of the Jira manager group. And that is it. Now, of course, form field the error message will appear against. So this is something where you're defining which to which specific field you want to actually make the changes. So let's say that you don't have like really the authority of changing the priorities, for example, and you can actually do this. So from there, I can update this script, and then I can publish this workflow right here, and now it's ready. Okay, now if you actually refresh this, and you try to go in progress, and it's saying you're not part of the Jira managers group. That's one thing. The another thing is you're trying to actually change the priority in here, and it did change. Huh. Well, interesting. Let's go back. Let's go back to workflows. Let's go back to the validator. And form field that the error message will appear against. Leave blank for it to appear to the top. Okay. Publish. No. Alright, there we go. But of course, yes, this is actually expected. There's no confusion because, let's not forget, this is from open to in progress. So we're trying to do this, and it's not showing that. There you go. You're not part of it. So you cannot actually do that stuff that you wanted to do because you're not part of that specific group. Now, since we were talking about the groups and everything else, let's go back to our console here. Let's delete all of this possible stuff. Mutable issues and everything else. No, we're not gonna go with that. First of all, I'm gonna go with the component. Let me just include it in here. IntelliSense, will you help me out? Thank you very much. Alright, so, and then you can also go with the group manager, and there we go. So from here, so group manager, it's gonna be first we need logged user, current logged user, and then you're also gonna be using the component accessor, and you're going for authentication content, and you're going for get logged in user. And that's cool. Now, you're also gonna need a group manager, and from there you're also going component accessor, get group manager. There we go. Now what we can actually do from here, what we're having is group manager dot get all group names, or get all groups. Get all group names. Alright. And there we go. So we have two of them. which are Jira administrators and Jira software users. And when you actually solve that, then you can be like, oh, now I can actually change my validator to be like, oh, this can only be done by the Jira admins or someone else, and not by anyone else, of course, when you're doing that stuff. So that is something that is pretty useful to know. So if we actually go back to the group manager again, logborn. So we also have the group manager. So there is like getting the directories of the group. So that is something. There's also to add the user to the group, which is of course something that is possible to do, but I cannot because I am now the current and only user in on this instance, because this is my internal instance and basically no one has access to it. So yes. And there are a lot of stuff. So group exists. So if you're saying group exists and which group you want, so you're actually looking for Jira Manager, does it exist? And it's gonna say to you basically that this is false, that doesn't exist at all. So that is how this group manager is actually being used. All right, so let's go back here. So we have our validator in there in place. And now if I try to do that every time, it's gonna say to me, well, basically you cannot do it because you're not part of this specific group. But if I wanted to change this from Jira managers to Jira admins, yes, I would be able to do it. I'm just gonna disable it for now. Gonna go for the workflow, gonna go for transitions, opening progress. Now we're going to actually go for the post functions. Okay, my bad. So doing it from here and then going for diagram, in progress, post functions, add a post function. Alright, so interesting stuff, clear fields. It's actually pretty nice to have something that is cleared out, or when it goes to done, or something else. So that could be really useful to also to copy the values from one field to the another field. This thing right here is something that should be part of the cloud, and in which terms to be actually part of the cloud. To be part of the cloud in terms of when you're doing the cloud to cloud migration and everything is done, everything is there. There's this migrated in the braces being created for a lot of stuff. And I saw it basically. It even creates a project role with that. Administrators was created for that. Some of the custom fields can actually be created for that. Notification schemes are created for that. Priority schemes are being created. Just having that migrated being added. Also, workflow descriptions were being created and was saying migrated on that specific day and everything else. The reason for that is to prevent any kind of a data loss. So that's the thing. And since that something like that already exists, why not having something like this to copy the field values and everything else to to the new field that is going to be much clearer than the previous one. So that is not going to have migrated or some stuff like that that are pretty ridiculous when you actually take a look at some point. But yeah. All right, so let's go back here. Create a custom field option post message to Slack. This is good, but this is only if you have a Slack integration. So that is a prerequisite for you to actually have. Pre-force job custom script post function. Yeah, there we go. That's what I want. Or maybe to actually have a simpler one. I'm just looking at it. No, let's go at. All right, so there we go. You have some example stuff, but yeah, Professor G already has prepared the advanced workflow scripting actually, which is including something first in here that is called transient vars, whatever that is. And when the transition runs, Jira builds a temporary context map called transient vars. So everything Jira knows right now during the transition, it only exists. It exists only during execution. It is not persisted anywhere. Okay. So it's like a temporary memory that it's being used, and that where the values are being stored. Okay, that is fine. But we're not there yet. So if I go here to my lessons, there's actually something in here. So first of all, saying this is where you actually change data, create subtasks, and custom emails, or even call the external APIs. For example, you have a created Jira issue, so what actually can happen from there? That Jira issue gets created in, say, Salesforce or Workday or somewhere else. So there's a natively step called update change history for an issue and store the issue in the database. So what happens when you place it before and what happens when you place it after the step? Before, you only need to update the issue object in the memory itself. Jira will automatically save the changes to the bit database in the very next step. This is incredibly fast and efficient. Of course, thank you for that. If you place your script after this step, the issue is already saved. If you modify this, you must use the issue manager. And there is the example in here. So this is what is gonna happen. So what happens is, after the transition is already done and everything is already done, let's say that you're setting the assignee for the current user. That's one thing that is actually happening. So the current user is going to be the assignee, and then the resolution is going to be null, and of course the set due date is going to be null. So basically meaning these fields, resolution and due date, will be empty. So now if you go here, I wanted to start Loom. No, I don't want to start Loom. Let's go back here, add workflow functions. So we're getting this. If you add a preview, so custom script, and basically it's not telling you much. So it's not gonna tell you always everything. So you just need to keep in mind about those things. It's not gonna tell you everything all the time. So now you have the option to click on add, and what it's gonna be doing is this. So first of all, from open to in progress, so we're gonna publish this right here. Let me just check if we have something active in the workflows themselves. No, except this one. Okay. In progress, that's been good, and see what happened here. So the due date was actually, so this was there. Now, I can set the due date, done, but resolution unresolved. Now this could be due to the fact let me just refresh this real quick. No workflow could be found. Oh, you found a dead link. Oh no. Alright, so let's go to diagram here. And post functions and everything else. So there are no other post functions in here. Oh, there should be one. Now let's see what's gonna happen in here. The thing is that what should be happening is when you update the issue field and the resolution, and resolution should be going to done. And this is something that is being done by default by the Jira itself. Now, so we are having here saying no comments. All right. But I'm gonna edit this. I'm gonna add a due date here. So the due date appears. So we had our post function in there. We have labels, we have everything. A resolution is actually in there, and it was not really the correct way to put the resolution because I put the post function to actually be here. So I'm gonna change that. Why is it showing me there's no workflow? What? Post functions. Yeah, that's fine. I'm looking for this one. There we go. I'm looking for this one. And from there, remove it. First, I'm gonna publish it as something that has been removed, but we're not done just yet. So let me just edit this. Now we have the post functions in here, but we're adding another one. Custom script that actually goes here. There we go. A bit of tedious work, but it's fine. So in progress. Let's go with done. Due date is gone. And so should be the resolution, but it depends on the settings that were actually being done or what's happening. There you go. It's gone. So it happened first. It wanted to move to resolved, but then it was following the order here that we put for the post functions. Oh, now it put actually this to be the first one. Okay. But as you saw, automatically it was done. But then it changed to unresolved. And the due date that was here was gone. So it's not there at all. Yeah, the same thing actually goes from here. So you actually go for edit, you go for having a due date here, everything fine, everything cool. Click on done. Assignee has changed. Due date is gone. It's saying done now, but there's going to be a change here. Oh, there's actually a bug here for this one. Okay. I don't know, you can actually break it like that. I think I discovered a bug here. Yeah. Oh, it's not even showing. Okay. Where is it? PM17. PM7 is there, but where's... Was this one? No? Okay. PM7. Okay. It's... Yeah, I know it's still saying done until you actually refresh it. PM17. There we go. I don't believe it actually got removed. That shouldn't be the expected behavior to have something like that. PM17. And there was even PM7. Yeah. That's the one. That's the one. Alright, perfect. So, let us now return to the advanced workflow stuff. So, this transient vars, whatever that is. Okay. So, that does mean issue transient vars. No, it's not getting defined like that. But let's read more about it. So let's see what actually that is. What does it store? So the issue, current user, action ID, workflow context, original issue object, and the entry. Okay, so before the changes, the workflow metadata, transition ID, really useful data that you can actually have logged for your transitions, of course. This is how it looks. So accessing issue and the user in here. So we are having these two libraries. All right. So from there, issue, and it's saying transient vars. How was it? Transient vars get issue as mutable issue. Okay, so this part right here, so it's not even recognizable. You don't need the component accessor. That's a big deal. Okay. So this is application user and everything else. Okay. All right. Yeah, let's go again. So we are adding more libraries, but also, there you go, dot get, and it's saying issue as mutable issue. So this is where we are getting it. And it's saying the mutable issue, this part right here. Okay. And there is also authentication user. Wait. Application user. Oh, my bad. Application user. User. Transient vars get. So now what is it getting? So it's getting the current user. And this also needs to be in quotes, current user. And that is saying as application user. Okay. And from there, it will log these things. All right, let's see that. Of course, preview, it's not going to be there. All right, so we got it from here. So that has been published. Is there something? Yeah, here, done. Okay. Now we're having loggers for this. Just remember, oh, something failed. Cannot get the display on property on the null object. Okay. So I need to fix that. User dot display name as a current user. Okay. So let's make sure that this doesn't happen again. Alright, progress done. Alright, here. Oh, it's actually, there we go. Transition executed by null. So it didn't recognize me, so this is something that needs to be fixed. So we can say for accessing issue and user, I got this error. Good catch. So, yeah, this is it. It's not always populated. So now it's saying, oh, production safe. use um, use a different one. Use a user instead. Okay, user. All right, update. Publish. There you go. So from here, in progress and done. Now you're going back to ScriptRunner and get more, and still saying executed by null. Okay. User display name. Yeah, that's what I did. That's what I did. When still trigger another post function, trigger by script. No, I don't have any. Or you also having this one, best practice. If you're actually updating it, no, I'm not. Alright. Application user, component accessor. Basically, I don't need this at all. So, if not the user, not the current logged in user, it's getting it. Then, it's doing the update. Okay. Alright, so due date, progress, done. You know why it was saying that? No, it should detect. No. It should detect who did it. Should be still there. There we go. There we go. Finally. Fixed. That's good. That works. That's great. That's great. So it was fixed after all. Alright. And display name and the unknown. So defending ourselves from the null exception, and also getting the Elvis operator to say to us if this is not there, then basically a known user actually did this. But you shouldn't be having unknown users. That's the thing. So the unknown users are not really that welcome at all. Yeah, so that's the thing to actually know about that. Okay, that's good. That's good. I can review now. Next lesson. Oh, the APIs. ScriptRunner APIs. Oh no, wait. We're working with custom fields, issuing subtask attachments and watchers. Yes, it was. It didn't. We actually didn't do anything with that. So, yeah. Alright. So now we're getting back to console. Alright, console. There we go. So, first of all, what we need. So we need a component accessor, that's one thing. And we also need a custom field manager. So that's going to be another thing that we need. Now, can we go custom field equals to component? No, it's gonna be different. It's gonna be issue manager. And first we're defining an issue manager, of course, component accessor, get issue manager. It's recommended to use the get issue manager as the method instead of using the issue manager as the entity. So then issue dot equals, so issue manager dot get custom. Oh, we don't have that. Well, my bad. So we need custom field manager then equals to component accessor get custom field manager. There we go. And can I get custom field manager? Get custom field. Yeah, there we go. Oh no, create custom field and object itself. So by the name, we're actually having one that is named ScriptRunner, and it's here. Now what we can do, log.warn cf dot projects. So what this means, custom fields, this like all issue types is applying the context of a custom field itself. For example, you want to have a certain custom field appearing on stories only in one project, and then you want it to be appearing on tasks and subtasks on the another project, and that's it. So that's why the contexts are being used. That's one thing. Another thing is, in how many projects it's being used. Is it across all, or is it to some specific projects? There's also an option saying which fields actually it to which fields it actually is being presented to. So that's something that enables you to do more stuff. So if I go and say cf dot all issue types, true. So it's being applied to all of them. Okay. Custom fields. Start to type script runner. Contexts one project. Last updated. So all issue types, yes. All projects. Well, basically it's one project. Yeah, but it's saying false. There you go. So that's what you can do with it. And there's like configuration schemes, the list of it, the clause names. Is it editable? Can you edit it? Get associated issue types. Okay. Not getting any errors. That's good. Oh, it's no, right? So something needs to go with it. Okay. Let me not just think that much about it. Okay, so here, all right, it's a custom field value. And get custom field value and everything else. So, okay. So I can go log that warn cf dot value, right? No, not really. So I have it get custom field value. But wait. So issue dot get custom field value. So value, and then it goes issue dot get custom field value cf. Not sure that it works like that. Where did you get this variable from? Where's this from? Unless no. Issue is not declared. Hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. I get it. So this is still in the workflows. Okay. Um. Right. Working with custom fields, but in the workflows. Okay. And there's already this one, so I'm gonna disable this one. Where's this condition right here? And all right, so it's here, custom field manager, ScriptRunner. Now from there, it's like CF value. I don't get it. Not yet. So you need to go and select def CF value equals to that to get custom field values for CF. Ah, okay. CF value. Now I understand. This is still inside the workflows, and that's why it's mentioning the custom fields. It's mentioning the other stuff and everything else. Oh hey man, function called binding variables. It was very helpful to me during research of the ScriptRunner events and context. No, not really. I think this is actually the first time I'm really hearing for you, and I thought that these things in here that they were part of ScriptRunner console, but they're actually not. There's more stuff. Basically, was around this part right here. So who actually did the transition and everything else. So that was something that is interesting. And all of this, like advanced ScriptRunner APIs, this is now introducing like custom fields, attachments, watchers, and stuff like that. And it also includes update and things like that. So there's, yeah, there you go, to update the value, for example. And from there I can be like, okay, when this basically happens, I can say right now you can set this value to be this one. Yeah, to set the custom field value, but before that it actually needs to be immutable issue or something like that. So if you go with CF and I say set custom field, I don't have it, so I would have to make it first as a mutable issue. So that's the first thing. So from here I would need more stuff. So I would type in mutable issue. There we go, mutable issue, it's there. Okay. Ah, it can print all available methods and attributes of the objects. Oh, that's pretty cool. Huh? Didn't know that. That would actually be really useful. So now from here, it's making mutable issue, mutable. I'm gonna name it mutable. Issue as a mutable issue. Okay. Issue as mutable issue. And mutable. I'm gonna be set custom field value. There we go. And from here, I go say ScriptRunner, but it's now require me an object in here. Okay. So I believe as this one. Yeah, so before that it had CF and was getting it and all that. So what I could possibly be doing, yeah, it's this. I need to replace this. And now I update this. So this is from open to in progress. That is going to happen. And let me just find an open one in progress. Seems like something's missing here. Ah. Well, that's what's missing. That's what's missing. It was off. Okay. There we go. So I need to add the what was it? Yeah, right, for client update, and now I can do that stuff. Wasn't this supposed to change as well? It's supposed to, but it seems like something is missing in here. No. Yeah, the value type depends on the field type. It is radio button. That's what it is. It's radio button. So let me see if I'm actually missing something here. No, so we are having this CF value get custom field values for this one, and then set this one to actually be set up. Oh, but wait. Why? It's there. But where is it here? What the hell? Yeah, I probably don't have it. Yeah, it's here. Resolution to done. And for this. Wait. I think I got it basically. What? What I did wrongly? Did I get fried? Condition. Yeah, this one is fine. This one is good. Now I was able to do all of the stuff. Basically. Oh, you can't. Yeah. No. Oh, wait. Was that already there? Okay. Let's be sure now. Let's be sure now. Alright. Okay. Alright, so nothing changes. So that was already there. But wait. Where's the field? What? Hmm. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm gonna be closing it here for tonight. Yeah, that's all, folks. I'll see you in the next stream. Yeah, that's it. So don't forget to tune in for the next stream, of course. Yeah, that's basically it. See ya.